Hey everyone, and welcome. So today we're jumping into something that feels, fundamentally human, the vibe of a classroom. But can something as techy as AI really help shape that feeling? Can it make a classroom more exciting, more supportive, and just a better place to learn? Well, let's dive in and find out.
Okay, first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page. When we say classroom climate or environment, we're really just talking about its overall feeling. The mood. It covers everything from feeling safe and comfortable to whether it's a space where you actually feel like you can learn and grow.
And that, right there, leads us to the biggest question of all. A feeling that's intangible, it's personal, it's human. So how in the world can a piece of technology, a tool like AI, possibly help build something like that? It seems counterintuitive, right? Well, that's exactly what we're here to unpack.
Let's start with what might be the most fun part of a great classroom climate. Creating a space that literally buzzes with energy. And that all starts with sparking genuine excitement and, even joy for what you're learning.
So, how do you actually create that joy? Well, the secret sauce is relevance. And this is where AI can be a perfect bridge. See, AI isn't some far-off abstract thing anymore. It's already woven into our students' daily lives. It's in their phones, their video games, their social media feeds. So by exploring how AI is already in their world and how it's going to shape the careers of the future, all of a sudden that classroom lesson connects directly to their lives. And that's really the key takeaway here. When you make that connection, when learning actually clicks with real life, that's when simple engagement gets supercharged. It turns into actual, genuine joy for learning.
Okay, but all that excitement, it can only really take root if it's planted in a foundation of safety and trust. And that brings us to the next critical piece of the puzzle, building a truly supportive space for every single student.
And we're not just talking about physical safety here. We're talking about psychological safety. So what does that look like? Well, it's about building it together with things like shared guidelines for how to use AI and setting crystal clear expectations. When you're responsible with student data and you're totally transparent about things like copyright, you send a really powerful message. This is a place built on respect and trust.
And really, all of those things, the guidelines, the transparency, being careful with data, they all point to one single non-negotiable goal: making sure every student feels safe. Because that feeling of safety is what gives them the freedom to ask questions, take risks, and just be themselves.
Now, this might be the most important point we make today. The technology is just a tool. That's it. This quote really says it all. Humans, not tools, carry responsibility. It's the teacher, the school, the community. They're the ones who build the climate. AI can absolutely help. It can support that work, but it never, ever takes over that fundamental human job.
All right, so we've got excitement, we've got safety. The last piece we're going to look at is something educators call productive struggle. And trust me, this is where the real deep learning magic happens.
So what on earth is productive struggle? Think of it like this. It's that sweet spot. It's when a problem is challenging enough to really make you think and wrestle with it, but it's not so impossible that you just give up. It's in that messy process of grappling with the problem that true understanding is actually built.
And this, right here, is where AI can be a total game changer for a teacher. So first, an AI tool can give a student a challenge that's perfectly matched to their level. Then, and this is the crucial part, if the student gets stuck, the AI doesn't just hand over the answer. Nope, it offers scaffolds, maybe a little hint, or a similar example, just enough to nudge them forward. And all the while, the teacher is freed up to do what they do best: facilitate, guide, and offer that human encouragement.
So, as we pull this all together, the big picture becomes pretty clear, right? The goal isn't to build some futuristic, sterile AI classroom. Not at all. The goal is what it's always been: to create a deeply human-centered classroom, one that's full of joy and safety and just the right amount of challenge. AI is just becoming an incredibly powerful new tool to help us get there.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thing to think about. As AI gets more and more common in our schools, what do you think is the single most important shared rule or expectation your community needs to agree on to make sure this technology actually helps and doesn't hurt your classroom climate? Something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.